Having seen the traditional side of Lebanon, I now arrive in Beirut, where despite the physical scars, a vibrant, trendy food scene is driving a renaissance.
They've changed the traditional lamb sausage and added fish.
I visit one of the oldest refugee camps in the world.
I've been warned by everyone I've spoken to not to come in here.
And I'm taught a traditional Palestinian dish.
Oh, beautiful.
And then it's back to my kitchen for a collection of what can only be described as dude food.
How good do they look?
I love the flavours of the Middle East, and even better, taking that inspiration and creating something new in my own restaurant. But to really understand the food, you need to go to the source. And so, I'm off on a trip to search out age-old recipes and traditions of these ancient cultures. And then the fun part? Bringing it to life in my own kitchen. Having spent the last 5 weeks trekking around the rural areas of Lebanon, I'm happy to be back in the city. Even with all the usual urban problems.
I think the best way to get around in this traffic is just to close your eyes and hope for the best.
I'm in Beirut, capital of Lebanon, home to fine food, fashion, and semi-frequent violence.
There's no rules, you make your own rules as you go. It's Lebanese style.
Beirut lies just about dead centre of the Lebanese coast, and it's a meze plate of cultures. Refugees live side by side with high-end fashion. Bomb buildings rub shoulders with five-star hotels, and burqas and bikinis are both embraced. To help me sample everything this city has to offer, I'm meeting up with style queen and foodie, Christiane Hajar.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, thanks for the drink.
You're most welcome.
This is an amazing setting, not what I was thinking of Lebanon at all.
Beirut is so glamorous. I mean, you would see every day a more glamorous restaurant, a more glamorous nightclub, and people really dress up for any occasion.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much into fashion and trends and,
Yeah, I've noticed
stuff.
both the guys and the girls, you know, there's more Louis Vuitton here than there is in Paris. But what about the food, you know? I've seen the food, you know, in the regional areas, you know, amazing, you know, homely, really warming food. But is there a top-end dining scene in Beirut?
Yeah, definitely. You will never be hungry in Beirut. So you would find from the fast food, you know, that you would find everywhere in the world, to the most refined, you know, cuisine for gourmet. You would really find any kind of international cuisine that has the Lebanese, you know, touch.
Yeah, so they're, you know, really putting their Lebanese Beiruti spin on the global food scene.
Definitely, and of course the Lebanese food is just one of a kind.
Yeah.
But,
well, if this is the way that people live in Lebanon, I could enjoy it as well.
No doubt due to its troubled history, Beirut is all about living for the moment. And after dark, this city is fast regaining its title as party capital of the Arab world. It feels more like New York, Paris or Melbourne, definitely not the Middle East most people think of. But the one thing that is the same is the post-club pick-me-up. And the Middle East is responsible for defining this genre of food.
You must be in for a good spot if it's already busy.
Falafel are the original dude food. And like many things in this part of the world, everyone loves to eat them, but no one can agree on their origin. Parsley, pickled turnip, tomato, and liberal amounts of garlic sauce, all on the chickpea patties, rolled up in some carbohydrates, you've got the perfect late-night snack.
Got one. We have these in Australia as well, but not this good. And it's always good at night time, you know? You need something in your stomach to suck up all the alcohol. Is this your neighbourhood? No?
Just come here to drink.
We're just coming to drink.
In our neighborhood, no alcohol, nothing.
But you can drink in this neighbourhood.
Yeah.
It seems like falafel shops are the same the world over, and it's not long before talk turns to politics.
We had civil war in 1975, and now we don't know what's going to happen.
So everybody just living for today, yeah?
Yeah.
You can't speak with him.
That's
You're a spy.
He's a spy. You're friends, huh?
It's stupid.
Every day sees Beirut edge a little closer to its original title as Paris of the Middle East. And with so many influences, this city is the embodiment of its cuisine. Like mezza, there's lots of different flavours, cultures and influences all coming together. And for the adventurous, there's a pleasant surprise right around the corner.
So I'm now in Beirut's Armenian quarter. Nothing goes to waste in this town, not even derelict real estate shoved underneath a motor pass. But I have heard there's some real kick-ass Armenian food just down the road. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Heaps of cities have a Chinatown. Not too many would have an Armenian town. About 30 minutes walk from the club district is the Armenian Quarter, where a large contingent of Armenians set up shop in World War I and are now firmly a part of life in the city.
Got room for one for lunch?
Yes.
Upstairs?
Upstairs.
I've come to a family-run Armenian restaurant called Onno, and the word on the street, it's the best in the neighbourhood.
This is the cherry kebab.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
The food here is typically served mezza style, but you can see the flavours starting to drift north. Still cousins, but not really what you'd call Middle Eastern.
This is heaps different to the rest of the food I've seen in Lebanon. More similar to the food that I've seen in Turkey. You know, manta. I've seen manta in Turkey, but it's not roasted like that. And that cherry kebab, it's really taken on the sweetness of the cherries, but you still got that fattiness and a bit salty of the meat. And it's got a bit of spice. If you can see a little bit of sweat on my brow, it's the food I love.
And with an Armenian lunch under my belt, it's time for dessert. And Beirut being the mezza of world cities, a French-style sweet is only a block away.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hello. How are you? Good.
Welcome to Gustav.
So you're the Gustav on the name?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we've been open for 2 years. And we are creating some interesting, innovative desserts.
I'm all about innovation.
One of our most important products is the pomegranate tart that has gathered a lot of success.
Mm-hmm. Well, they always say tart for a tart, so show me one.
After World War I, France was given control of Lebanon for 20 years, and these influences can still be found today.
We do it in a small French hint, whereby we use a brisée tart at the base with a little bit of almond to give it more perfume. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the pastry cream comes on top and the pomegranate seeds. People are more and more discovering the health benefits of the antioxidants and the fibers it gives and the vitamin C.
And I saw him drizzling some kind of syrup or a glaze. What's that?
That's just sort of a jelly to keep the seeds in place, because as people will be moving them around, you don't want them to fall off. Now it has to go in the fridge to set a little bit, and then it is ready to go. We wanted to bring a seasonal, local fruit that is actually spread all over the region, from all the way from its origins in Persia. And we wanted to add this French touch with a Lebanese twist. Mm-hmm. And combining both was a great success.
I'm going to take this out, eat it in the street and run, because I've got a lot to see in a short time.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Chef.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an interesting mix. It just doesn't quite work for me. But it does sum up this fascinating city and acknowledges its multicultural history. This being the Middle East, there's one regional influence that's impossible to ignore. And only 15 minutes away from the CBD, there's a neighbourhood that not many foreigners enter.
So we're just entering the Shatila Palestinian refugee camp. You know, it's a hive of activity. It's really tense. You know, I'm not scared of a lot of things, but you know, I've been warned by everyone I've spoken to not to come in here. You know, not really welcome to tourists. You know, there's guys all around us. We can't even see them. You know, I've heard that there's guys on the rooftops with guns watching every movement we do.
Shatila refugee camp was established in 1949 to house Palestinians escaping the Arab-Israel conflict. I always thought that refugee camps were meant to be temporary, but this one's been here for 4 generations, everyone waiting for a country to call home. To show me around, I'm meeting up with Kazim Hassan.
Hello.
Hi.
Good.
Long-term resident and head honcho of Shatila.
Now the number of people that live in Shatila around 20,000 people.
20,000 people in
under
this
the area, under the area of 200 meter length and 194 width.
So they can't move outside the borders of Shatila. They have to just keep building up.
Yeah. What can we do?
With no forward planning, the city continues to grow up, not out, and things like electricity cables are just hanging from building to building.
You know, so living in the camp, being away from home for so long, you know, the food tradition's obviously still alive. Like, how do you keep it?
Hard aspects of life. Never make Palestinians forget their country, even their food, because the food is the life.
Being in Lebanon for so long, why don't they just eat Lebanese food? Why is keeping Palestinian food so important?
Why? Because every nation has its own needs, its own traditions.
The best way to get a sense of the food in this town is in a home kitchen, and Kazim knows the camp's best cook.
Anadi! Anadi!
اهلا اهلا
اوكي
اهلا وسهلا
في عندنا شيف بده يشوف الاكل الفلسطيني
اهلين
جايين لعندك
اهلا وسهلا فيكم
اوكي
ويلكم فيكم اهلا وسهلا تفضلوا شرفوا
اوكي
But Kazim has business to attend to, so I'm heading up myself.
Hi.
اهلا وسهلا اهلين اهلا بحضرتك تفضل معنا فرجيك طبخة المقلوبة
After you.
اهلا وسهلا تفضل
Hi.
This is the first time I've ever been in a refugee camp, let alone been invited to dine in one.
Wow. This is a tight kitchen.
It's small, eh?
It's small. I thought I worked in some tight kitchens.
ولكن مقبول ما بيأثر
You cook for 9 people in here.
Matlube means upside down, and it predominantly consists of chicken, rice and eggplant.
أكلة طيبة إن شاء الله يعني قدر كيلو مش أكتر كيلو رز بس نرجع بنجيب الفخاد طبعاً هون جيزة الطيب ما بيأثر فينا نخليهم بيعطوا طعمة كمان مع الرز هيدي جازة الطيب والدجاج بيجي عندنا طبقة الباذنجان مقلي ومصفى والزيت كله بيبقى شربانه نبقى بنفرده هيك هيدي اسمها مقلوبة الباذنجان هي اللي يعني اللي مشهورين فيها الفلسطينية
So it looks like it's a layered dish, you know, rice, chicken, eggplant, and then covered again with a layer of rice, chicken and eggplant.
حط لها حبة بندورة يعني مش حتعطينا يعني كطعمة بس كلون بس هون عندنا زوم الدجاج اللي نحن سالقينه ومهيرينه
The real flavour in this dish comes from Hanadi's homemade chicken stock, infused with ginger, bay leaves, lemon and cinnamon.
هلا فينا نغطيها ونتركها هيك حتى يستوي معنا الرز بدك تقول ساعتها يا ريت اخذت وحده فلسطينيه لحتى تعمل لك هالاكله
While the rice cooks, Hanadi starts toasting. You guessed it, pine nuts, cashews and almonds.
اوكي في ما بقى في مي نشفت صار فينا نقلبها هلا
This is the tricky bit, trying to get it all out at once. So that's why it's called matlube. That's what it means, you know, upside down. So the pot's turned upside down, all the layers are kept intact, and she's smoothing it out now to get it nice and sort of appealing to the eye.
The nuts go on top and a herb garnish. A very simple Palestinian favourite, matlube.
هلا تقدر تذوق المقلوبه اللي عملناها حضرة الشيف اهلا وسهلا فيك
I'm looking forward to eating it.
واعطينا نظريتك
The matlube is a quick and easy way of feeding Hanadi's big family, and I feel honoured to be a part of it.
The aubergine gives it a really nice moist flavour in a dish that could be dry because it's, you know, there's no moisture left in there. Beautiful.
It's now been 5 weeks since I embarked on my lap of Lebanon. In that time, I've discovered many cultures and many cuisines with flavours and techniques that stretch back thousands of years. I've seen the traditional, but where's the contemporary? Joe Baza is one of Lebanon's most loved celebrity chefs, and if there's one restaurant that summed up modern Beirut, it'd have to be Babel.
So this is the raw meat. They present it like sushi style. This is a fraki with the red pepper paste and the poppy seeds, yeah?
So traditionally it wouldn't have poppy seeds and all that, would it?
No, we don't use pepper seeds.
I like the way how the poppy seeds put a different texture and they crunch. They don't really take over the flavour, but I love it. So they've taken the original kibbeneh, but they've just brought some new life into it.
Same recipe, just new life and the way it's original.
Yeah.
The next twisted tradition is one of my favourites, ma'ane, or lamb sausage.
This one, it's the ma'ane of fish. It's not heavy.
It tastes just like the normal sausage. They've changed the traditional lamb sausage and added fish. To look at it, you think, well, there's something not right with that. But when you actually eat it, it works perfectly well. Yeah, you wouldn't know it's fish.
Reinventing old favourites is dangerous in Lebanon, and chefs like Joe have to tread very carefully before changing much-loved recipes.
So how do you go with the dining public in Lebanon? Do they eat this food? Do they like it?
It takes a lot of research and know-how, because if you go too far with it, you know, people, then they get scared. The twist, it has to be clever.
I'm really loving what we've seen at Babel. You know, they're pushing the boundaries of sort of what people can accept. Definitely some ideas that I'm going to steal, and I've got a lot more respect for sort of where Middle Eastern food and Lebanese food is heading for the future. So, no, thanks, Joe. It's been awesome being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
From the poverty of Shatila to the beachfront along the Corniche, Beirut is an incredible city. You hear the term thrown around a lot, but this city is truly a melting pot of cultures, of stories, both sad and sunny, of people, and of course, of great food traditions.
I wanted to cook some food today that really sum up what I think Beirut's about. You know, it's hustle and bustle, it's glitz, it's glam, it's refugee camps, it's poor and it's rich, all crammed into one. And I thought the best way to sum that up is we'll do some dude food. To me, dude food just means some really funky ingredients and memories from childhood, things that you really enjoyed eating, all brought to life in a contemporary, new age way. We're going to start with the Armenian influence. We're going to do Armenian sausage stuffed chicken wings with a crunchy crust and sour cherry barbecue sauce. I've just got the centre cut of the chicken wing, and I've asked my butcher to just take out the chicken bones, because, you know, boning the chicken's no fun, so just get your butcher to do it, save you a lot of time. What we're going to do is squeeze out that sausage meat. They're just pretty much a lamb sausage, and stuff that inside our chicken wings. They're done. And I just want to steam those for about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the Armenian restaurant was that cherry kebab. So to add that flavour to my chicken, I'm making a really simple sour cherry barbecue sauce that you can also keep in the cupboard and use it with other things.
That's a really good barbecue sauce. Those chicken wings should be ready. We're going to get all those in the fridge, chill them down, and then we're going to shoot over there and make our crumb. So just some cornflakes, just quickly, just roughly crushed, in with that flour.
You can add whatever type of spices float your boat. But to bring it all together,
tomato packet soup. So just that stuff you buy in a packet, you mix with some water, and it tastes disgusting when you eat it. It's going to give those chicken wings a real extra zing, and it's going to have a great sort of colour as well. Best way to use this stuff. Chicken's nice and chilled. Straight into some buttermilk. Straight from there, straight into our crumb. And just really compact that mix onto the chicken, and you get all those cornflakes and all those crunchy bits on the chicken. Over to my fryer. Now, you want to be careful. You don't want to put too much in there, because if you do, the temperature of the oil is going to drop, and they're going to stew, they're not going to fry. So I think in a little fryer like this, you know, 5 to 6 pieces is plenty.
and then fry it till they're done.
How good do they look? You can see all those cornflakes stuck to the chicken. That's going to give it that real crunch that we want out of our fried chicken. Now the best bit, I get to taste it. Bit of that on top. Definitely one for the restaurant. Next bit, plating up. Chicken straight in the bucket. And that's my Armenian-style fried chicken wings with sour cherry barbecue sauce. One of the ultimate late-night snacks is a falafel roll. You know, just like you saw when we were in Beirut, after having a few drinks at a bar, it's the perfect thing. And I reckon it's the best way to eat something vegetarian. As you can tell, I'm not the most vegetarian, healthy eating fella, but a good falafel roll, or a little falafel burger in this case, is just the ticket. We'll get started. Some chickpeas, raw chickpeas that have just been soaked. These aren't the tinned ones, they haven't been cooked. Straight in our food processor. Some garlic and chilli. I'm just gonna roughly chop that up. And straight in. Good pinch of salt. Some coriander powder. Cumin seeds, roasted and crushed. Bunch of coriander. Squeeze the lemon. Time to mix it up. All right. See how it's a really fine paste? And they've taken on a bit of a green colour, which is exactly what I want. Now, we're going to serve this in little snack burgers, so they're going to be little sliders, 2 bites and it's done. So you have to remember that when you're forming your patties. Don't want to make them too big. That's about the size that I'm looking for. All that's left to do here is deep frying. Make sure the oil's hot enough, about 160 to 180 degrees. And when they start rising to the top, and they're golden brown like that, they're done. have to be careful when you're making falafel. I've had a heap of dodgy ones that just taste really bland like chickpeas. You have to put a heap of spice in there and make sure they're nice and crunchy, so when you break it open, it's full of flavour. And these, really crunchy on the outside, nice and moist inside, heaps of garlic, heaps of flavour. They're a winner on their own. All that's left to do is put everything together. If you remember back in Beirut, the guys served their falafel with heaps of garlic sauce and pickles, and the pickles really cut through all that sort of fattiness of the yogurt. And what I've done is I've just shaved up some turnips, radishes, and cucumbers, and I've just covered them in vinegar, a little bit of coriander seeds, touch of salt, and that's done. We're just going to freshen that up with a bit of fresh herbs. Coriander leaves, some mint, and a little bit of parsley. Get our falafel, our pickles and herbs, and bring it all together with our grilled lid. And these are my Beirut-Style falafel burgers.
If pizza's not dude food, I don't know what is.
Look, I've been eating reimagining, or Lebanese lamb pizza, for years. After a few drinks, it was the perfect remedy.
The base is a regular pizza dough, rolled out till it's really thin.
And when you can sort of see through it, it's done.
For the topping, so simple. I've minced lamb, tomato, chilli and garlic.
Straight on.
And a good tip, preheat your pizza stone. That way, it's only 5 minutes to cook. Time to sex up the mayo. So I'm adding in some preserved lemon.
Good stir.
And because you only live once, throw on some chips. And of course, some pickled chilies.
Bit of mint in there is always beautiful with this pizza. And then just roll that up. That's my Beirut-style Lebanese lamb pizza. All right, so today's been all about Beirut, about street food, something a bit grungy, something a little bit different. To finish up, we're going to be doing my take on the Beirut pomegranate tart. I think there's so much more you can do with pomegranate, and I reckon I can do it just a little bit better than what I saw in Beirut. We're going to do a pomegranate ice cream sandwich. I'm using pomegranates in a few different ways. 2 of them I'm using right now. The first one is a pomegranate and rosewater jelly. The second one is a pomegranate and sumac foam.
I start both of them by dissolving some gelatin in some pomegranate juice.
So in my pomegranate jelly, I'm going to add some rosewater. And to my pomegranate foam, I'm going to add some sumac. And this is just going to bring out that zest in that pomegranate. I'm going to bring both of those to the boil, get them in the fridge, set them, and use them later.
And what's an ice cream sandwich without the ice cream?
Got my frozen anglaise in there already churned. I'm just going to pour in one of my favourite flavour combinations, some melted dark chocolate and some pomegranate molasses. Tastes exactly like cherry ripe. We just need to leave that churn until it's done, get in the freezer and let it set. So we need to get cracking on our marshmallow.
Marshmallow is easy. Sugar, water and glucose, all brought up to 118 degrees.
Once it gets there, we're going to give it some gelatin.
I'm slowly pouring the syrup into some beaten egg whites.
Little trick, turn down the machine because you don't want to spray all that hot sugar all over the bowl and all over your arms. So gently start adding that. We're going to start cooking those eggs with the heat of the sugar. And you need to beat that until it's totally cool. We're going to flavour that with our orange blossom water. You just need to put that aside, let it cool, don't put it in the fridge, so when it's done, we can chop it up and put it inside our ice cream sandwich.
Not finished yet. I'm adding texture by mixing peanut butter with salted caramel.
And I'll get that in a piping bag, just so it can be the glue that sticks this whole thing together.
And now the fun part, putting that sandwich together.
The key to any good sandwich is the bread. So I've got a nice chocolate-coated wafer. We're going to get our jelly, measure it up with our chocolate base and cut it so we've got a nice fit. All right, next bit, we need to cut that marshmallow. What I want to do is create sort of little supports on each side so that the sandwich doesn't tilt. Now I need to fill that up. Peanut butter caramel. I'm just going to put a little bit at the bottom just to hold it all together. Ice cream, a couple of peanuts, a couple of pomegranate seeds. I just need to grab my pomegranate foam. We're going to put this in one of our little soda siphons and we're going to hit it a couple times with 2 gas canisters of CO2 and make it nice and light. So give that a good shake. Just filling up that gap. Some coriander shoots just over the top. Lid on. And that's how you make a pomegranate ice cream sandwich.
Every now and then, it's okay to be a little bit naughty and live for the moment. It's a lesson the people of Beirut know all too well. But next time, it's goodbye Lebanon, hello Iran.
It's very sort of like overwhelming. This place here is like the equivalent of an Iranian nightclub.
Where I'll journey from the Gulf to the Caspian Sea.
That is one weird-looking fish, man.
Over 2,000 years of food history.
If this is the first impression of what I'm going to find in Iran, I'm wrapped.
In nearly 2,000 kilometres of road.
This is absolutely beautiful.